Okay.
I think she's 5'7", so I don't think he's.
Donna Lang.
I think he's.
I'm going to call this Tuesday, May 17th, Board of Education meeting to order. I think we'll start off with the superintendent's announcements.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Hope everyone had the opportunity to vote on our school budget. Polls are open until 9 o'clock. I'd like to just share a few pieces of information with the board and public before you get into the meeting. First, I want to congratulate a couple of Farragut Middle School students for their Tri-County Science Fair win. Chelsea and Sarah Maculek, 7th grade students, won first place in the Tri-County Science and Technology Fair. Their paper was Texting Insincerely, the role of the period in text messaging. Don, I thought you would love this. Apparently it was building on a study out of Binghamton University, so congratulations to those middle school students.
That's great.
Yeah, interesting.
Texting like talking or writing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. And this just came in where our theater department did extremely well, being nominated for a number of awards for the production of Les Mis, 14 Metropolitan Music Awards, which is tied for the most of Stepanak, who, as you know, does very, very well there. And so they are actually invited to perform during the ceremony because they were invited for overall outstanding production. So the entire cast gets to go to, we're invited to perform.
Where is it?
In Paris?
No, I wish in Paris. It's at Stepanak High School, I believe, on June 6th, I think the evening is, the awards. But they had 14 nominations, which I believe is the most they've had in, I don't know if it's ever, but quite some time, certainly. So I know they're all very, very excited. I want to congratulate the entire crew and production team and directing team and everybody else that's been involved, because it was really an outstanding performance and production that was put on, and some well-deserved recognition for our students and staff. So congratulations to them, and good luck with their nominations as well. We also had a Farragut 6th grade student receive an honor from the Knicks, who recognized Paige Martin as one of 2 2016 Dave DeBuscher Award recipients, given to 2 student athletes who have excelled in the classroom, on the basketball court, and are involved in their community. And Paige was chosen as she embodies the same heroic characteristics of the late, great Knicks legend Dave DeBuscher. So that's quite an honor, and congratulate her. Yeah.
They direct basketball, too.
Everyone is invited to come out to see the first annual Steel Drum Festival, which is featuring the steel pan ensembles from Hastings and Mahopac High Schools. So that should be fun on Saturday, May 21st, in the high school courtyard. 2 to 3 in the afternoon, yes, this Saturday. So please come on out. The foundation has their big fundraiser Saturday evening, Rhythm and Brews. We hope that a lot of people come out to support the foundation. They do outstanding work on behalf of our schools and behalf of our students. We had them in at the last board meeting where they announced their the awards that they gave out. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was over $65,000 worth of grants that are going to help programs and students and teachers. So please come on out and try to support the event if you can. And finally, we have our next board meeting on Tuesday, June 5th. 7th. In my mind, it's the 5th. I've been saying that for 2 weeks. I don't know
It's
why.
a Sunday, but you're welcome
It's
to
the 7th.
comment.
I am welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to skip ahead to a personnel appointment.
Public comment?
No, we're going to do personnel.
Yeah, just do the quick personnel appointment.
Personnel, and then we'll do public comment.
Right after.
I just wanted to skip ahead to one of the personnel appointments. Like to, the appointment, it's for the appointment of Chadia Batista Madera as a 1.0 probationary English as a new language teacher at Farragut Middle School. Gail?
So it's really a pleasure to have Chadia here with her husband, Louis. and Mom and Dad who are sitting behind her. Welcome. Feels like it's taken us a long time to find Shadia. She came in, interviewed. Her interview was spectacular, and then she came in and did a lesson. And she just captivated the children and us, and she had us at hello. So I'm really delighted to introduce her. Shadia received her Bachelor's of Art in Childhood Education with a concentration in Science and Technology from St. Thomas Aquinas College. She's got her Master's in TESOL in the graduate program, from the graduate program of the City College of New York. Presently, she is teaching first grade bilingual. She's a transitional teacher at West Haverstraw Elementary School. Prior to that, she was at the Gerald Nearly Elementary School, a first grade teacher as well. Shadia has been involved in lots of professional development. She's familiar with the New York State core curriculum, the standards. She's received training in guided reading, ESL teaching strategies, Google Smartboard, flip cameras, and a whole host of other professional development. And her special skills are she's extremely technology savvy, so I'm going to be going to her room for help. Thank you very much. She's bilingual in English and Spanish, and she has very positive interpersonal and communication skills. So it's really a pleasure to have Shadia here. I'm firmly convinced that she's going to have a very successful career here in Hastings.
Great.
Can you do a vote?
Yeah. So can I have a motion to, second?
Second.
All in favor? Congratulations.
Good evening. Thank you to Mrs. Kipper and Dr. Montesano for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and for all of you tonight for being here, supporting me, and it's great to meet you, see faces on the board. I'm extremely delighted to be here. It's been such a great experience so far. Even though I've come to your school building 3 times, every time I have come, I felt welcomed. It seems like a really great community to be part of, and I'm excited. I'm excited to really get to know the students, the parents, and just work collaboratively with teachers, and really just maybe this may be my second home. So I'm really looking forward to starting that new journey. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Congratulations. So you all are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to leave if you want to go out and celebrate. We're not chasing you out, but you also have permission. Our parents are here, yeah. So I think we'll move on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Come up to the mic. And just state your name and address, please.
We are Lisa and Stephen Carroll. We live at 47 Darwin Avenue, Hastings on those. I think most of you are familiar with my wife, who is an active member of the community and rather vocal. I'd like to preface what our comments are by saying we supported the renovation of the field when it began. We voted for it. We were actively involved in looking at the decisions that were made about the lighting, everything that went on. We've endured, and I say endured because my house sits right opposite the construction. 7 months of heavy-duty construction all day long, from 7 in the morning until 6 at night, and we haven't really objected or made any comment about it. The other side of that conversation is that during that 7 months that we've endured this situation with the construction, although there was a lot of discussion about what would happen with the field, I don't believe there has been any reach out to the individual families that line that road who were so affected by A, the removal of all the trees that went down there in one fell swoop, and then B, the 7 months of construction. All that being said, we've tolerated it because we expected the outcome to be beautiful, better for the community, would increase the value of everything around it, it would be wonderful. And then somebody made the decision to put up the scoreboard where it was put up, which if you come to where I live and look, you'll see that we have this beautiful field out in front of us us, and now when we stand in front of our home, we have this back of the scoreboard and edges of everything. And the positioning of the scoreboard was clearly a mistake. When my wife went over to take photos of what was going on there, she was standing there. The workers who were working there came over and said, "Can we help you, ma'am?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm trying to take pictures of the scoreboard because I don't understand why it was put there." And they all started laughing because they said they didn't understand why it was put there either. We've addressed the board. The conversation return has been that the expense to move it prohibits that from happening, and that what you're going to do instead is disguise it with shrubbery. We don't believe that that's enough. I think that this was clearly an error. Whatever money you're going to spend on landscaping, save and have it moved 30, 40 feet to the right, or, which is still not the right spot for it, or across the field where everybody who is sitting in the stands can see it. Those are our comments. We have a petition we'd like to leave. We have it signed by
No,
most.
it's not ready yet.
Anything you want to add? I covered it.
No, I just think it needs to be moved. It's as simple as that. It was put in the wrong spot. And anybody that walks down our block says, what were they thinking? You know, we've lived here for 24 years. I've never complained about anything, never had an opinion like I feel about this really strongly. It's just a big mistake and it needs to be moved.
If you look at the way the stands were built, the sign points away from them. So you're sitting on the same sign and the scoreboard's over here. That makes no sense. Please consider it strong. Thank you.
Thanks.
If I can just provide a couple of comments for the board. Mrs. Carroll and I have been emailing, trying to work out some kind of resolution. I know it's not the one that they want.
Yes, and I appreciate
No,
it.
of course, no, that's not why I said that, but thank you. We did explore alternatives with the architect and with the landscape contractor and our engineer to find out, is it possible to move the scoreboard? And if so, where, and then what are the associated costs connected to that? So far, the estimates have come in that if we were to move it, it's a minimum of $30,000 cost to move the scoreboard to an alternative location. We are going to meet again tomorrow morning at the field with everybody, trying to see if there are any alternatives that we perhaps missed or perhaps they missed out, to see if it is all possible. But it is a substantial cost that we did not put into the original plan currently to put extra money in to move the scoreboard. It is in a similar, I know we disagree on that, but is in a similar location to the other scoreboard. The other scoreboard that was there, the older one, was a bit smaller, and it was in a different position. This was
Like a
pushed
different
out.
angle, you mean?
It was in a different angle and a different position.
And 20 feet to the right.
Yeah, I'm saying different position. Right, I'm not saying it's in the exact same spot, please
No,
don't.
it makes
Yeah.
a
Yeah, if you want to
difference.
put it back in the same spot.
This is not supposed to be discussions. I'm sorry, let me just finish my comments.
I want to make sure we have the facts.
I understood.
Okay.
As I said, it's not in the same position as the other one. It is in a different position, which was forced out because of the angle of the track, and the track is now longer in that area as well.
Where was it
So-
going to be on the plan?
It was on where it is. I mean, we haven't changed as far as I can see. Went back to the original plans. It's located where it was always located on the plans.
But different
So-
from where the old scoreboard was.
Different from where the old
size of the
scoreboard was
track.
because of the track, and the angle of the track is now different than the previous one. But where they identified on the plan where this were wound up is where it's always been on the plan itself. I don't think that's changed at all. Nonetheless, we do have, as you heard, we do have plans to not put shrubbery there. We are going to put tall evergreens there to mask the back of the scoreboard, along with other trees.
But I was
to
going to say, aren't there
replace-
going to be other trees
Well,
along
there's going to be a
the-
lot of other trees as
'cause it
well
is
that are
quite
replacing the ones
barren.
that have been taken, removed from, because of the construction. So we do have a substantial landscaping plan, not just on scoreboard itself, but around the whole area of the Reynolds Field that has been planned out. So that's what we have that we're currently dealing with. But again, we're meeting tomorrow at the field to see if there's something else that perhaps we missed that can be done at less of a cost, perhaps. And if there is, we'll certainly consider that. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment, because my original opposition to the field renovation had to do with the proportions and the scale of the project for the space, and also given that it is in a neighborhood. And I find that the scoreboard is, oversized and glaringly in the neighbor's view. So I really would urge that we consider swapping it out with another scoreboard. I know that you've considered all these things, but in my mind, it is out of proportion to the site, and I understand the neighbor's position.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to look at the alternatives. I also think it looks quite barren anyway. I mean, when you come there driving at it from all angles, I think the look is very different now until we get trees and not baby trees, but,
It also doesn't seem like whoever did the lettering on it understood graphic design, the way the fonts are. It's like
I didn't look.
word tastings, I guess it's spread out. I mean, there needed to be some kind of proportion on it, and I agree that's a tiny, minor point.
No, but,
It's part of what makes it look a bit amateurish. I think the top part with the Hastings logo is fine, but I'm just talking about the sort of boilerplate stuff where they put in this village name and guess.
it's like they squeezed Hastings
Yeah,
into,
the fonts are just, but that's a minor point.
Yeah, I think that's a standard scoreboard. I don't know that we had a choice in the font or the spacing of the font. I just think that's how it,
I'm sure they could have done better, but that's
I don't
something.
know.
that-
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think that the bigger issue really was the placement and the proportion.
okay.
Well, as soon as I get
So we'll hear from
the
you.
final information, I can certainly share it with the board, and if you can tell us where you want to spend the money to move it, then go right ahead. Would have to be
I
done
mean, where we
relatively
want to
quickly.
take the money from.
Correct, because we don't have the money reserved. We don't have the money as part of the plan to do that. However, I would tell you that if, in fact, that's the direction that the board would want to go, you'd have to do that, we have to make that decision very quickly, because otherwise it forces the, everything else to
Slowing
be
down.
delayed, because the rubberization of the track is getting set, and we have a small window for that as well. So those are some of the factors that would have to be considered.
Is one of the cost options to change the size of the scoreboard?
We haven't, because you would basically pay for the entire scoreboard. It's not like you can exchange it for another one. You can buy a new one.
Right.
And take it down, certainly, but you can't, it's not like you can get your money back
Replace
on
it.
that one.
Right.
Probably like another
If you're going to do that, if you're going to spend the money on a new scoreboard, a different size one, I would recommend that you totally, just move it out of the way totally,
Right.
because you're going to spend the same money
Right.
and.
Say that again, if we were going to,
Karen suggested, what if we traded in for a different size?
uh-huh.
I believe it'll be the same money, whether you get a smaller size one at this point.
You're saying keep the scoreboard but move it,
Move
would be
it.
the same cost
If
as
you're going to
just
spend that
buying a new
kind of money,
scoreboard. Right.
I would recommend you move it altogether,
Right.
as opposed to getting a smaller one,
Right.
because it's going to be so much, like I said, you can't return it
Right,
Right.
for a credit, so,
okay. But,
okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the update.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you. So let's move on to business items. Anybody have any comments or questions of items 1 through 10?
Yeah. Maureen, could you just give us a rundown of the different audits we're doing? Because I was thinking that you were doing a different audit.
Oh, in the internal audit report?
Yeah, I had from my notes from our previous audit meetings that we were going to do, and I may be.
Purchasing and
Yeah.
accounts payable.
And I was saying human resources.
No, okay, so they didn't attach the right file there. He made a typo in the, and actually, we sent Janine the new one to attach. She must not have attached the right one. They're doing purchasing and accounts payable. I'll have to have her just attach the right attachment.
The facilities last year,
Yep.
capital payable by this summer, capital projects and by
Yes.
next summer.
Yep.
So we're still on that
Yes,
trajectory?
yes, we are.
Okay, great.
She must have just attached the wrong one to the
That's
thing.
fine. And do we have to meet with Dave?
He's coming, yes, he'll be back in, I think, excuse me?
Does the audit committee meet with him first and then he comes here, or do we just do it all at once?
You would meet him after he does the, in the focus area. So I think I haven't, well, I'm hoping the state will be gone by then because I need the room where I told them they're going to be in there together. So he's coming the last week in May to do his work. He'll be here for 5 days, Dave. And then he'll meet with you. So we'll send out something either during that time that he's here or shortly thereafter,
And do we have to go through, because the state's here, do we have to go through the same process with them?
I guess, yeah, probably.
You know what they're-
I don't know when they've been here for since, what month are we in? Since March 2nd.
Okay, all
So
right, you'll keep
we'll
us
see,
posted.
yeah.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else, any of the other items? Then can I have a motion to accept business items 1 through 10?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor? Okay, let's move on to placement and CSC and CPSC. So we have, we just take this all together? Yeah. So can I have a motion to accept the CSC and CPSC recommendations?
So moved.
I'm going to give it to Wendy.
Second? Second? All in favor? Okay. Okay, now we'll move on to the personnel appointments. Take out number 3 that we just, of Chadia Batista Madera. And we have 3 appointments of Joanne Marty, Erin McCardle, and Nancy Boyle. Can I have a motion to accept the appointments?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? And then we have an amendment to the election inspectors, which I guess we better do, or we can just forget the whole election. So this is a motion to appoint and remove people who have been appointed as chairman and election inspectors. Can I have a motion to accept? A second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. We're looking at minutes from the May 17th. It can't be.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. May 3rd.
May 3rd. Mine says May 17th. Anybody have any comments? Okay, can we have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Karen or Lindsay, do you have comments on the community
She-
leaders
Wendy went.
groups?
This is the diesel.
Diesel, Wendy went.
Oh, okay,
when I was
sorry.
So this
Oh,
was.
this is because you broke up diesel and community leaders? I see.
No, it should be separated.
Okay.
It's just diesel.
Okay.
So this was the last meeting of the school year, and basically all of the schools reported back on the activities that have been happening around a lot of social emotional learning programs and activities in the class in each of the schools. Actually, it was sort of so many pieces. There's been in Hillside professional development on mindfulness. In the morning, the children have been writing poems based on work of African American writers and reading it. They're looking into curriculums like mindful Fareed is researching different kinds of character education, and I guess Donnie, I don't know his I couldn't,
Waterers.
from the community center is coming up to work with students on, is that the Steps to Respect?
Steps to Respect, yes.
And then they're also looking at PBIS, and specifically for the younger kids, because the older middle school kids don't really take it that seriously, but the younger school kids kind of.
Oh, well, I tried.
And then in the middle school, they're, at least in one classroom, they've been doing a lot of mindfulness work. They've implemented a positive incident report so that when a kid does something truly outstanding, that incident report goes home as a a real pat on the back to parents. The kids are. It's really, Gail, is it just in that one classroom that primarily?
Yeah, we're piloting in one fifth grade classroom, mindfulness, and then with the hopes of in September, bringing it into all the fifth grade classrooms.
Mindfulness on a daily basis?
Just starting the day,
In the beginning of the day, like
Yeah.
like a 10-minute mindfulness thing?
maybe 5.
5. That's all you need.
Which then, then it means that the kids start using those skills at other times during the day when they need to calm themselves down or take stock. I think Gail has a group of faculty who are joining her in the morning sometimes for beginning the day with some mindfulness work. Which seems to be lowering the pulse rate. And then this was at the last liaison meeting at the middle school when, on a last time the board met, Chris presented a workshop on digital citizenship. And I think the discussion there was the school giving parents permission to check their kids' text. You give me your password.
School giving parents permission?
Well, as Gail described it, it was one way to make parents feel better about actually checking in on their kids was if we said it's okay to do that, and it's actually important to do that. And I don't know what the.
Yeah, I think it was fascinating in that the children pushed back. The children said, "We don't want you reading our text messages. Really can't have my password." And what I said to the parents is, "We're the adults. We're the parents. It's very important for us to have children's passwords. It's very important for us to know the sites that our children are visiting on the internet, and we need to be firm." And it was interesting, but it felt like many parents needed to hear me say, "You need to push back. It's okay. That's our job." Because I received emails from parents saying, "Really appreciate your being firm with us," that sort of thing. So it was interesting.
And then in the high school, I think you guys had a conversation about what the first day of school was going to look like next year, and students. Yeah.
Front and center.
Good ideas, new traditions.
A lot of ideas came up, and they have plans for meeting and having a further discussion.
That's what I was going to do my staff report, actually.
Oh, sorry. I just took your thunder. And then work continues with the ADL, and there are 7 students presented at the middle school faculty meeting. There's some more students who've been brought into the trained group of ADL students, and they have been invited to Hillside for the first faculty meeting next year, the students who presented to start talking about probably more along the lines of diversity issues, but they're very overlapping. So, and also, I think today the high schools talked about stress and how to manage it for high school students. There's a lot of stress around the college application process. And, not all the stress is coming from the school. I mean, there's certainly stress around testing, but there's many other sources of stress that the kids have to deal with, which I guess is one of the great places that mindfulness training comes in very handy. So Roy brought up the kind of need to put this whole set of programs and initiatives under some umbrella so that there's some organization to it and consistency, across the grades. Yeah. It was mind-boggling how many things.
Exactly.
Anything I left out?
Well,
Nice. A lot of stuff going on.
yeah, thank you.
It's good. Was that meeting today, Wendy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Emily, want to do a student report?
Yeah, okay. So first of all the seniors left for their internship, so the high school is missing the seniors, but that means that we're having elections, so there's going to be a new SU president and new class presidents and treasurers and secretaries and all of those positions, so that's been going on in SU. And the second thing I was going to talk about is what you said in our meeting. I think it was a very productive meeting. We talked about a lot of new ideas. Mr. was very firm that the gauntlet or the senior welcoming is not going to be happening again. Understandably so.
She's being very kind.
I was actually the nice one in that meeting, wasn't I?
Wow.
You were.
Now that's a change of role.
So we discussed some other ideas, like having a senior breakfast that day and maybe doing like a parade around the halls, having some senior pride there, trying to just kind of come up with new ideas, which all sound a little foreign because we're also used to this one standard of what we're going to do, but I think that everyone is starting to really think about it and really understand that what was in the past is not going to happen again, and we have to kind of do something else. What were the other suggestions?
Starting up at the pool,
Yeah.
morning, having breakfast there, working our way down, a parade within the hallways and just gaining momentum of kids coming out of the hallways and following along and culminating in the gym, some sort of a pep rally, the lobby being transformed into some sort of senior hangout that morning with breakfast and so forth. There were a couple of others. What I suggested, which is foreign to this generation, unfortunately, is they actually have to meet and talk to one another instead of putting everything on Facebook and...
Well, getting 100+ people in a room is going to be a little bit
Don't
difficult.
worry, I'll find a space. You
Okay.
find 100 kids.
Okay.
So we're teaching them skills where they can actually talk to one another.
Yeah.
Because everything has been done on Facebook up until this point. So I think if we get them all in the room, we'll come up with something very productive for next year. That could be a tradition that will go on. I think it's nice that you can start your own tradition.
So they have the challenge of providing the gift of a new tradition.
Correct.
Yes.
Like it.
But they have great ideas. They really came up with some great ideas. So we're optimistic.
Yeah.
Then we also talked about things we may do at the end of the year, like going up to Hillside and being acknowledged as graduates, but also having the little ones sort of acknowledge them as graduates, but also sort of handing the reins off to the little ones. Say,
So
you're next.
we had a senior pool party as well.
Senior pool party we talked about. A lot of good ideas.
Yeah. So that's all that I have to say.
I guess it's hard and sort of disappointing.
but whatever. It doesn't, like, I
got
think
over it.
at this point, everyone has to just deal with the fact that it's not going to happen. But it's going to be nice to have something and then pass it down and then know that we're
Absolutely,
the
you're
grade
the
that
ones who
started that new
started it.
tradition, which is cool. And I
Exactly.
never thought of it like that until just now. And so
There you go.
positive.
There you go. 2017.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Bring up another sore point, but is there any discussion about that sort of student to administration discussion going on about dances?
Well, they tried to use that as a negotiating piece, like, okay, we'll give up that first day if we can have our dances done.
I think that there's going to be more discussion about it, but as of right now, it wasn't the main focus.
I've laid this no dance edict down twice previously.
At least twice.
And I've succumbed to the pressure, because as my assistant principal would say, we're what they used to call them frog saps, and we just, we succumbed to it. Come on, please.
They still call it.
I don't know about this one. Sorry, Emily.
So this means no more dances forever, is what you're saying?
We have the junior formal, we have the senior prom.
Square dances?
Square dance.
There you go.
Hee-haw.
Voice.
Could be. More to follow.
We will have a discussion, I think.
Okay, so moved. So moved. To be discussed. Very good. Any old business? New business?
There's something that I'd like to bring up as new business, and...
Can I go back to old business?
Oh,
Yes,
yes, sorry.
yes, sure. Sorry.
I was just slower opening my mouth. What was the timing that we were planning to do in terms of goals for Roy for next year? I sort of felt like around now was when we were going to be sort of coming up with them, because last year we did it too late, but I don't know. So how are we?
We came up, I thought, with a calendar, so let's check
Yeah.
the timeline. Yeah.
Okay.
You can check with Irene.
Okay.
We did have a timeline.
Can I ask you as VP to check that?
I absolutely will check that.
Okay.
Go on to new business. So I was at a meeting at Children's Village last night, and talking to the head of the board of Greenberg 11, which is one of the special act school districts in the state. You'll know what those are. So,
Can you tell the audience?
oh, sure. So there used to be many more, but currently there are 10 special act districts that are attached to various residential programs that work with kids with all kinds of issues, emotional issues, court-involved, mental health, physical disability, and 6 of them are in Westchester County. But the one at Children's Village is Greenberg 11, and I went on, and they're in really bad straits because there's a very unfortunate funding method where they don't get money for 2 years after, or the rates are assigned 2 years before, and then they have to wait a long time for the money to come through, and they have to borrow money, which costs money, and they're very underfunded. And I mean, these are the most difficult disturbed kids that any of the districts serve. So on the Westchester Putnam School Board Association website, there's a voter voice asking for action on the special act districts, and I was going to propose that we put that on our advocacy page and maybe do an email out, because the one thing that we hear over and over again from our legislators is the importance of a lot of communication from communities, so that people know what these school districts are and, tell our legislators and the governor that they really need to, step up or change the way they're funded and make sure that there's enough money going to them to actually provide the kinds of services. Because they're expensive services to provide.
They're funded entirely by the state, Wendy? Is that how they work? Or
Charge tuition to other districts.
Yeah.
oh, they charge tuition?
But the rates are set, the tuition rates are set by the state, and it does take a few
It's
years.
2
for it
years.
to
2 years
behind.
back.
It's 2 years behind the time.
Right.
So they're charging tuition to the districts that are the
Residents?
the child's
Correct.
Yeah, the home
child's
district.
Yes.
But I can imagine
It's like a
places New York
placement. It's
City
like if
don't
we,
pay.
it's a placement.
Right, but the funding formula is also screwy, and it's just, they're, pretty much in bad straits right now.
And who approves their budgets?
Their boards.
Their boards do?
Their boards do, yeah.
So who held the meeting, Wendy?
This was the Community Advisory Group meeting, and the chairperson of that is also I think the chair of the board of Greenberg 11.
So we also have a vote here.
Right, for the Westchester Putnam.
Yeah, for the Westchester Putnam School Board Association. There's a proposed slate of officers and appointment of a board rep to cast the vote. Does anybody want to talk about this or have anything to say about it?
This year, there were a number of people leaving the board, and so we looked at the map and folks who have been participating in West Putt activities, and tried to, kind of fill in gaps in inviting board members on. I think we have new board members from some of the larger districts, which we haven't always had, and that's really all I can say about that.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve the vote on the West Putt proposed slate of officers and a board rep to cast the ballot?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
I think I have to abstain since I'm on this list.
Teachers still on it.
Yeah, as of now.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Maureen?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, second public comment. Anybody out there in the audience have anything they want to comment on? Okay. Board of Ed comments. I have two. There's a dinner tomorrow night. Did Eileen send an email? I know Roy's going. It's the valedictorian, salutatorian dinner?
Correct.
Is any-
Lou and I will be joining the students.
Is anybody else? The students are Kat Berman, Jordana Solomon.
Valedictorian, salutatorian.
Is there anybody else who can go? I was going to try to see if I could, but I'm not so sure. What time does it start?
It opens at 5:45, dinner's around 6:30, and we expect it to be over about 8:30. There's a guest speaker, but I don't recall who it is, though.
And where's it?
It's usually at the Tarrytown.
The Doubletree?
Doubletree.
Tarrytown?
Well, you two, have a good time.
Wait, hold on, there's one.
We will represent you nicely.
I'll let you know tomorrow if there's some way that I can switch stuff around.
The other thing is that the Westchester Putnam School Board Association dinner is a week from this Thursday?
26th.
26th, yeah. So if anyone wants to sign up.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, you have to do through,
It's one of our attachments.
yeah.
Right.
So, and Betty Rosa, the new chancellor, is going to be speaking. So,
Are you going to go to that, Wendy?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
signed up.
Also, we have the Memorial Day Parade approaching. Just think about it, and if anyone is able and willing to march, we'll let them know. Okay. Well, we can just, no, I think we'll just communicate it with each other, and then I can get back to Lisa O'Reilly and let her know if anybody's marching, and if so, who, and if not, not. Okay? Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then I think I'll call this meeting, adjourn the meeting.